All right, in today's video, I just want to do a trade recap from last week's live trading session. I posted my entries out on the Discord community, so you can go back if you are a community member and look at the screenshots of my trades from last week's entries on Discord. Now, if you're interested in joining our Discord, yes, it is free of charge. We are almost about 1,100 members now. So find the link to the Discord down in the description portion of this video, okay? Or on any video, okay? Click on it. You can invite yourself in. It is free. All right, so I'm going to go over the first entry, which was on the 4th. I did take a few more trades, but I want to go over the ones that kind of just, highlight last week. This trade entry right here, okay? You can see where I have it blocked up right here. This was I'm going to move this. Well, I'm not going to move it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This was a supply zone setup, all right? And where I took a short entry. This was posted on Discord on on May the 5th. No, May the 4th, sorry. All right, and the zone was right here. Let's go ahead and draw this up. Right here. This is the supply zone, okay? Price was making lower lows and lower highs to the downside, okay? And then it turned back around, all right, broke this area structure right here to the upside, and then it decides to start to move lower. Now, we didn't get a break of structure down here to the bottom side, but we did, have what I call intermediate break of structure, if you want to call it that, right here in this area here. Okay, price was pushing down, making lower lows and lower highs after it took out the top end of the structure right here. So it turned around, lower lows, lower highs, okay? Comes to this point here, turns, and then it starts makes a high, lower high, higher high, and then we get a break of structure to the downside, taking out and breaking 4,080 and 3/4, okay? So this marked the area of supply. We had aggressive selling here. We have a gap right there. Price pushes lower, break structure right here within this, this area right here. So we had this leg to the upside that turned around and took our structure here, okay, guys? And then it turns around, starts making lower lows and lower highs down to the downside. Now, it didn't break this major area structure right here, but we had a small break of structure forming in this area right here, okay? And it broke below 4,080 and 3/4. Pulls back to the zone. We get the rejection. Now, this is off my 12 range chart. This is a 12 range chart setup, okay? And once price basically breaks below, anyone that follows the channel, what do I do for rejection? I look for a break of a candle in the opposite direction. So we break below 4,084, and I'm looking to go short and take it back down here to the low, all right? At least right here to 4,074.5. I picked up 6 points on this trade right here, okay? And I posted it out there on the Discord community. Now, this is short-term scalping off the 12 range chart. This was a one chart basis and looking at for a setup, okay? I didn't really look at the higher time frame to really help me or gauge or help me in getting into this trade. It was more so a 12 range supply zone setup off of one chart, all right? So quick entry, pulls back here, supply, boom, get the break, get the rejection, take it back down to the low. And that's what it does. What does it do? Runs all the way back to the low and breaks right below it, wicking it and taking liquidity right there. Why? We have, liquidity right here at the bottom. Okay, this is a low right here. All right, so that's the first trade right there. All right, so I want to show you now another nice trade that I took same day, earlier part of the session. Actually, this was pre-session before the New York exchange, before the New York session opened up, I should say. All right, so this was inspired off my 24 range chart. And the reason being, I noticed that we had, let me show you here, a setup right here to the downside. Price was breaking lower, pulling back, break structure within this swing area right here. So we broke below, 4,105 and 0.25. So 4105.25, okay? 4105 and a quarter. All right, so we broke structure to the downside. It pulls back. We have a supply zone right there, okay? Supply zone. Now, when I'm looking at a higher time frame chart, say for instance my 24 range, so basically anything greater than my 12 range, and we tap into either an area of supply or demand, then I'm gonna scale down and see what goes on in my lower time frame, because I'm not gonna take the trade directly off a higher time frame. So again, this was inspired by the 24 range. area of supply right there, pulls back into it, taps into it, and I'm looking to see, you know, once price taps into it, I look, it's a straight shot up, you know, price action or price movement straight shot up here, basically with a lot of buying back to this area here. Okay, so you know, didn't really have anything if you look at the 24 range chart to really kind of block us on the way down. So I was really, my aim was for price to come back down here. Now, if I'm taking a trade off of the 24 range chart, okay, not taking a trade off, let me back up, okay, marking a area, a zone, in this case here, a supply zone, I'm going to scale down to my lower time frame, okay? Now, that being that this is a supply zone, I want to see some type of rejection, and particularly I want to see, or specifically I want to see a break of structure back to the downside and a pullback to an area of supply on the 12 range chart, okay? Now, let's scale down to the 12 range chart. So this was right here, okay? In this zone here between 4110 and 4116, let's just say that. So on the 12 range, we'll go to that area. It rests right here in the zone, okay? Right here in the zone. Now, this happened in the early hours of the morning, and I saw this pre-session. I saw this when the overnight session had opened up. I was hoping maybe it would push up pretty quick and tap into the zone, but it didn't during the time frame in which I would probably have taken a trade. So basically, because it was getting late in the evening, I didn't stay up any longer. So when I woke up in the morning, I saw where it was reacting off the zone here, the supply zone. This area right here is that 24 range supply zone. Price starts to break lower, okay? And by the time I was looking at the market, I couldn't find an opportunity to really get into the trade, you know, looking for a solid, you know, supply setup in a sense. So what I did see was that when price started making these lower lows and lower highs to the downside, okay, now it did break structure right here off the 12 range. If you look at it below 4,098, okay, pulls back, but still, that was at 6:30 in the morning, and I wasn't looking at my charts at that time, okay? But my aim is to take the trade back down here around 4,077, okay? So price kept pushing lower, and what I saw was price pull back. I noticed, and I pay close attention that we have the 4,100 round number sitting right there, right? And when I saw the rejection, meaning price moving sideways after trying to attempt to you know, make higher highs and higher lows to the upside, it started rejecting here, throwing wicks at the 4,100 round number. So when it started doing that, I said, okay, price is having a hard time pushing up. If we get, you know, solid means of rejection when price can't push any higher, and it attempted it once here, pulls back, okay, attempted it again, and we kept breaking, making lower lows, okay? So when price pulled back, I took a short entry right below 4,097. So primarily when it pushed up here, you know, pushed down, pulled back, started throwing these wicks here. It made a lower low here on the pullback, and I went short, okay, at 4,097. It kept rejecting this area here. And again, my aim was to go down and take price back down to the 4,077 area. Again, why? Because I'm looking at off the 24 range. Down here is an area, it's a low there, okay? It's a low. So I knew the price was probably going to try to target that area right there after pulling back to that key area of supply right here, okay? And even if you look at the 24 range, it tapped into the zone, it pushed down, it pulled back, rejection here, then it closes lower. Price is showing you that it's getting weaker and weaker and does not have the go power to really start pushing, you know, higher at that moment. So I knew when it started rejecting this area that it was going to aim to come back here. I just had to find a decent time or an area to be able to get into it off a lower time frame, and I was able to do so on the 12 range with the where was I at, guys? Right here. When I saw the 4,100 round number and price rejecting it there, I said, okay, it's rejecting it there. After pulling back to it, I'm gonna go short, and I did. Okay, so I capitalized on that entry as well. Posted that screenshot of my entry and trade on the Discord community from May the 4th as well. All right, moving on. Now I do want to say all my trades are inspired by supply and demand. That's the way I trade. Okay, I'm not a support and resistance style trader. I like to get into the trade, you know, where the move started at, pretty much, where the aggressive buying or selling actually originated. Okay, I don't like to take break and retests. So again, if you do not understand or know much about supply and demand, please do yourself a favor and kind of learn it from someone or somewhere. I have plenty or tons of videos here on my channel. Primarily, the basis of my channel is 95% more is all talked about supply and demand. Okay, so you could find a lot of good content here, as well as I'll offer trade breakdowns, and I have a video playlist of videos on which you can actually watch. So I've hand selected a bunch of videos and made a playlist, but it's only for the elite members, and the elite membership is $6.99 a month. Yes, it is basically the price of what you pay for a cup of coffee. Most of you guys are paying $5 to $10 a day. When I'm talking about $6.99 a month, and something that could probably, well, it's up to you, but I'm just telling you, would probably be a life-changing thing for you if you just spent the time watching the videos. And maybe you learn a lot of valuable information. A lot of people have on our Discord community, as well as you can ask them. Come over to Discord and ask anyone who is a part of the elite membership. Say, hey, who here is a part of the elite membership? Have you learned anything? Is there lots of valuable content on there? Yeah, because I give you the trade breakdowns. My live entries, whenever I post those trade breakdowns, I go into detail, okay? As if you were sitting right next to me and I was kind of instructing you as to why I took trades so that you grasp an understanding. That's what the trade breakdown videos are all about, and that is for, or will be, those videos are on the elite membership. So if you're an elite membership person or trader, you have access to them. Okay, you have access to the trade breakdowns, the video playlist, and that's primarily the bulk of the perks or rewards that you receive, as well as you get the emoji and the badges and the priority responses to comments that you leave. So those type of things. There are other and there's other perks as well. I'm slowly starting to maybe do a pre-market analysis breakdown of my thought process. That probably won't be every day because of my schedule, but I will post from time to time the pre-market analysis, as well as also, I did for the first time last week post a pre-market analysis video, as well as my zones of interest for that day. I posted my zones, so that's a freebie as well. Let levels that I'm looking at are zones according to supply and demand. So anyways, if you're interested in joining the elite membership, all you have to do is click on the membership tab on the channel here. On the homepage of the YouTube channel, you'll see a link or button that says membership. Click on it. There's 2 tiers. If you become an elite member, you get those things. You get the trade breakdowns, the video playlist, the market analysis and things of that nature, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna move forward, okay? So the next trade that I took was in this area right here. Now this was, again, these were trades off of the 12 range chart specifically, without any, I would say, emphasis pulled from the higher time frame charts. Okay, I was looking at what was going on the 12 range, looking for quick scalps. I took both a long and a short entry. And the first one, let's move this box down right here. Okay, so as you can see what was going on here, price was making higher highs and higher lows, right, to the upside. Okay, so it bounced or rejected some area off here to the left hand side, or some zone, and it starts making higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so we got a push up here, pull back. Price makes a slightly higher high here. Okay, then it pulls back here, closes above, and takes out and breaks structure right here to the upside. So it breaks above this key area here, right here. Okay, 41.48. Breaks above and then turns around, okay, and starts to making lower lows and lower highs to the downside, okay, and breaks in structure right here, 41.38. So if you don't know anything about the way I trade, I like to trade. My first number 1 golden rule is I have to see a breaker structure, okay, all right. Now, once price broke below this area here at 38, pretty much, I was looking for an entry or a pullback to go short, all right. And I was aggressive on this entry, on this trade here, because the moment price closed below 41.38, I had already entered a short position, very aggressively, knowing that, yes, I knowing that price could actually pull back first, okay? before pushing lower, but it kept pushing lower, and it worked out for me. I was just aiming for a quick scalp back down to this area right here at 41.34, okay? And it did. It came on down, and it took out this area right here, all right? So it broke below this low here at 32. So primarily, you know, the area of supply would have been right here, okay, in this zone right here in this area. And price does pull back to it, but if you look, it's already made its way down and tapped into the area here. So I had aggressively entered the trade, but what I was really looking for, because I took a long entry, opposite of that was this supply area. I mean, not supply, guys. Demand area right here. This was a demand zone. If you look what happened here, I'm going to discuss this as well. So, oops, sorry about that. All right, right here. So short entry right here, break of 41.38 for a quick scalp down to 34. Then price does what? It hits the zone here, rejects, and then breaks higher. Okay, let's talk about that. All right, so while was a a demand zone, high, higher low, higher high, price pulls back, starts making higher highs and higher lows, and runs to the upside. So this is a break of structure right here. Once price came down, broke, well, it didn't break structure quite yet, but I saw the break of structure right here above 44. Okay, let me explain that again. High, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Okay, on the pullback right here, this swing area right here, price broke higher, took out structure right here. So structure was created right here. Price broke higher, broke structure here at the top end at 41.43 and 3/4. The key is always I have to see a new high or a new low being created, okay? Meaning price taking out a high to make a new high, or price taking out a low to make a new low, okay? When it comes to areas of breaker structures, or looking for breaker structures, okay? Price pushes higher, pulls back, breaks structure right above 41.44, okay? All right. It broke structure right here, and I want to see a full candle close. And the full candle close didn't really happen until around right here. So, but we still got the breaker structure. Pushed up, pull back, boom, break structure, taking this area here out, and it took some other areas out on the move to the upside as well. But when it came back down here, okay, all right, when it came back after closing above and breaking structure right here, this now marked an area of demand, okay, demand. Now, we didn't close below or take this area out. I want to see if it breaks below. I have to see a full candle close, meaning below the body and the wick of a candle. In this case here, it didn't do it. Okay, now it came down, tapped into the zone. Okay, and what happened? All right, it bounced and pushed a little lower, but it did not close below. This is kind of scary here, because what they're trying to do here is stop traders out, is what their goal is. Collect liquidity and then turn the market back around. All right, and they did that. Okay, they did run the stops maybe by a few ticks here. Okay, to scare some people out. So if you put your stop loss right on the back end at 31.5, you got stopped out. Okay, by a few ticks. Okay, and that's so frustrating, because that is what they do. So give the area from which you're entering the trade at, give it some room. You're gonna have to give it a few points. 2-3 points. That's going to give you. 2 points is 8 ticks. 3 points is 12 ticks here on the ES. So give yourself some room. Had you provided, at least an 8 tick stop right at the back end of 31.5 or 31.75, it never stopped you out. It pulled back like a point, which is 4 ticks below that area, and turned back around. You see here. So this was a long entry for me right here to get into. Once I saw price projecting this area. Off the 12 range, I want to see a full candle closed in the opposite direction, meaning price breaking a candle in the opposite direction. And where am I looking to take the trade back to? Yep, my aim's going to be the top end of the swing right here. Well, this is liquidity sitting in the top end of the swing. So, most people will get in right here if you're conservative this is the full candle breaking the opposite direction right here, this green candle at 41.37 and 3/4. And you take the trade back up to the back end of the swing right here at 48.5. Even if you got into the trade here and took it up to say this area right here, you still got in and you picked up a good 4 or 5 ticks, right? I mean, not 4 or 5 ticks, 4 or 5 points, guys. I'm sorry. And if you stayed into it, you possibly got 8 or 9 points right here. Okay, so it was a solid entry, and price continued running higher. Okay, The best thing you can do if you have multiple contracts, look above. Once price taps into the demand zone, look above to see where your point of interest, where you should got the trade at. Take most of your position off, let it maybe your last contract run, and aim for the top end where the high is at, okay? The most, or prior high, the most recent high before price collapsed down to the downside and tap into the zone here. So those were just a few entries. I think I covered 3 or 4 there, entries that I took from last week. Trading session. Some kicked off, a fairly good amount of points, but overall, the key is waiting for high probability setups and take those entries. All right. So again, this is a trade recap from my last week's session. So this is, my live trades, and I shared these screenshots over on the Discord community as well, the trades I took. So, hey, that's all I have for you guys in this video. If you're interested again in joining the membership, just click on the membership tab on the homepage. If you are interested in joining the Discord, I told you where that's at already down in the description portion. But outside of that, appreciate everyone tuning in to another great video here on the channel. Please drop a like on the video if you found value in the content. Hopefully this video helps someone or many people out there. So please hit that thumbs up button, drop a like, as well as if you do not mind and you're not a current subscriber, click on the subscribe button down below, and you can, just stay abreast of the channel. Okay, you'll be in tune to it as long as you click subscribe, click the bell next to the sub button, and do yourself one more favor: turn all your post notifications on so you never miss one of the videos here on the channel. I'm out. I'm about to get over to the Discord and do some trading for today. Take care. See you in the next one.